Hey everybody, Paulie Cicero back here again. I actually had a couple of requests, and I'm going to be making today creamy beef and mushrooms. Now, depending upon what part of the world or country that you're from, since I'm in the U.S., I have my own way of making it. So this is going to be kind of cool because nobody really does it the same. So it's an old recipe, and it's been people have been making it for a long time, and this what I decided to do is just my version of it. Okay, so if you see something, if you go, hey, that's not right, it doesn't matter. When you cook, it's anything's right. You can do whatever you want. This is just like I said, my version. Normally, it just gets served by itself. I like to serve it with either noodles or rice. So I think today we're going to do rice on the side, or put some on the plate and then spoon the creamy beef and mushrooms over the top of the rice. So I'm probably going to do something like that. So without further ado, let's get into this. Okay, so the first thing I like to do is I make about 2 pounds of meat. 2 pounds of meat. Now, what I usually do is I get steaks. It could be sirloins. It could be New York strip steaks. It could be ribeyes. Very good with ribeyes. I happen to have 2 T-bone steaks. Okay, so I have 2 T-bone steaks. The total is 2 3/4 pounds. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to cut these bones out. That's the first thing I'm going to do, and that should leave me with at least 2 pounds of meat. So you want to start out with about 2 pounds of meat, 2 1/4, something like that, for this particular recipe. You can adjust it down if you want to make it 1 pound of meat. Then all the rest of the ingredients, you divide it by, you cut it in half. If you use half the meat, use half the ingredients. Okay, this is just my own personal one. This is made with 2 pounds of meat, or 2 1/4, something like that. So the first thing I'm going to do is unpackage these steaks and cut the bones out. I'm back, and I have cut the bones out. There's the bones from each one of the steaks. And so here's the meat that I have left. Okay, so now what I do is I cut all this meat into thin strips. You can leave, you want to cut off a lot of the fat, because unlike when you cook these on the grill, you need the fat to keep the steak tender. But you can trim a bunch of the fat off of here if you so desire. You can leave it on, that's fine. But I usually trim it off, and then I cut the steaks into thin slices, about 1/4 inch wide and about 1.5 inches long. I'll be right back, and I'll show you how big that is. I'm back, and usually, like I said, this was I took one of the pieces of the meat and I cut it down over here. So just like this, okay? We'll get this like this. So about this thick. You only need about 1/4 inch thick, and about this big. That's all. You want to just cut some nice pieces, and they'll fall apart, and you'll end up with small pieces. Sometimes they'll stick together, but I mean you want to cut them up pretty thin, and you can see you want to cut them pretty thin, and that's what you want to start out with, and I'm going to cut up all this meat, and then I'm going to put it in a container. And we're going to get this show on the road. So I'll be right back when I'm done. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to try to put you, since I don't have a camera stand, I'm going to try to put you on a shelf here, looking straight down so you can see me cut this. I hope this works. Yeah, I think that's going to work. You want to make sure you have a nice thick, a nice sharp knife, because you know, these are I mean, steak. You know, any kind of meat, really, for the most part, is sometimes it's tough. You know, but you are going to be working very close to your fingers, so you got to be kind of careful. Okay. Now, when you get all done, if you have a piece that's a little thicker or something, it's not a big deal. You know, like this, that's not a big deal. I've already cut. You can see a lot of the fat off of. Here's another piece. I've already cut a lot of the fat off of this, so you know, that's all you got to do. I'm just throwing that in a bowl. Grab the next piece. You can see it really doesn't take long. Now, you also might be able to, depending upon where you're located, you might be able to order this like from your butcher, already sliced up. So, you know, you might be able to get it done for you. You won't even have to. You can skip this step. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and finish this. I got quite a bit left, and then I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back. All the meat is sliced up. I have it in here. You can see. Like I said, you know, very lean meat, and it's all ready for to go into the pan and start cooking. So I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back. I've got the meat in the pan. The next thing you want to do, so that's two to 2¼ pounds of the sliced steak, whether it's ribeye or sirloin or T-bone or whatever, it's steak. So you have 2 to 2¼ pounds of sliced meat in your pan. Then you take a half a cup of soy sauce, and just pour it in right on top. Okay. I got it written down, so I don't want to miss a step. Then add that to the raw meat. Then you want some black pepper, and usually about a good sprinkle. I would say maybe maybe a teaspoon. Let me see if that's right. Well, it says half a teaspoon, but I like a little extra. You can do it to taste. So I'm going to put about a teaspoon. Okay, that's just plain old black pepper. Now, once you have that in there, all onto the raw meat, you're going to turn the heat on. You can turn it on high, and you're going to want to saute this whole thing. You know, use your wooden spoon to kind of mix it up. Get all that soy sauce all over. Get the pepper mixed in real good. You don't need any salt, because that soy sauce is salty enough. Okay, so don't put any salt in there, because that's good. That would ruin everything. Okay, so you just want to mix this up. You just want to mix this up so that you get all that. You want to get all that soy sauce kind of marinated in all this meat. Okay, and then so it looks like this, and you can see it's already soaking into the meat. There's not that much soy sauce in there, but you want to mix it up. You know, you mix it up so that you got your meat is covered, amply covered. Okay, and then you just let the heat take over until it's about halfway cooked. So I will be back. Okay, so I am back, and we are about halfway. I'll show you what it looks like. You can see that some of this is still. Let me get you a nice piece here. You can see some of this is still red, like that. trying to get that piece for you. See, some of it is still red, but you got a lot more cooking to do. So it's only about halfway through. Okay, so the next thing you want to do is add about 3 tablespoons of cooking oil. Okay, I usually use canola oil, but about 3 tablespoons. All right. Okay. That's it. You don't need any more than that. You put about 3 tablespoons of the cooking oil. Okay, so let me see where I'm at now. 3 tablespoons cooking oil, and you want to keep sautéing this, and you want to mix that in. You want to mix that cooking oil into the liquid that you still have from the soy sauce. Okay, then once you've stirred that up real nice, we lower the heat down to like medium. It was on high just to get a quick sauté in. We lower it down to medium. Okay, the next part of this is all on medium. Okay, so we lower it down to medium. 3 tablespoons cooking oil, and you keep sautéing it. Then you add 2 heaping tablespoons of garlic. You know I like my garlic. So you add 2 heaping tablespoons. I just have minced garlic. Okay. Now you can use fresh garlic. It actually would make it taste better, but I don't have that kind of time. I like, doing stuff faster, easier. Okay, so 2 heaping. There's 1. There's 2. Okay, 2 heaping tablespoons of garlic. Now we're going to mix that around. The garlic is, very important. And once you mix it around, the garlic flavoring gets all in the juice, which helps to permeate through. Damn, I used permeate. I don't use that word every day. That just kind of means seeps into the meat. So now that you add the garlic, what's next? 2 medium onions chopped up. I just so happen to have 2 medium onions already chopped up. You can see that they're okay. So you take that and dump that in. Wow, that's going to be so good. Okay, so now what you do is you keep sautéing this on a medium heat until these onions get soft. Okay, they don't have to be brown and they don't have to be caramelized or anything. You just want them to be soft, so they're not crunchy. Okay. Now you're going to still do a lot more cooking. Remember what I told you in the other one, in the other video? I'll show you. You want to stab at the ones that are, the ones that are in big pieces still, because you can break those apart. Okay? You can break those apart, break your onions up a little bit, make sure that you get, a good mixture throughout all. Okay? So, that's pretty nice. Okay? Now, once that's done, what's next? Chopped. Okay, so we got to do that, and we do this on medium high. You can even put it on to get the until the onions get soft. Okay, so I'll be back when the onions are soft. I'm back. I know it was a split second for you, but it's been about 20 minutes for me. And as you can see, those onions have softened up very nicely. Sorry, I don't mean to get steam on the lens. Okay, so now those are still on a medium heat, and our next step is to add 2 cups of beef broth, which I happen to have right here. Dump that in. I've got something special planned too. I changed my mice. Sometimes I try to talk too fast. I changed my mind. I'm not going to make rice. I'm going to make this, believe it or not, I'm going to use ramen noodles. Fast, good, easy, and who doesn't have ramen noodles? Everybody's got access to ramen noodles. So anyway, here's where we're at with the, I just stirred it in, the 2 cups of the beef broth. And the next step is going to be, now this stays on, you can put this on low. Well, you could probably leave it on medium if you want. Leave it on medium, and now it's another 20 minutes. Okay? Now while that's cooking, and technically you should cover it up. I don't know if I have a lid that big. Let me look and see. Well, I got a big lid. I don't know if it's big enough, but I got a big lid. It's not. It just makes it. It's not big enough for the pan, but it doesn't touch the food. So that's perfect. Okay. This next step is very exciting. I love this next part. Okay. Now this next part, I have taken and put in a pot 1 1/2 sticks of butter. See it? It's quite a bit. 1 1/2 sticks of butter. Okay? Now, what I do then is I take 1 pound of fresh sliced mushrooms. Fresh sliced mushrooms. These are big boys too. Some of these are big mushrooms. Hey, look at this one. The size of that thing. Huh? Yeah. Okay, so what I do is I take this and I dump these in. You know, a lot of people like to rinse off the mushrooms. I really, personally, I don't really care. You know, mushrooms, I used to go mushroom hunting with my parents when I was a kid. You know, and we'd pick mushrooms out in the forest and stuff, under the pine trees and stuff like that. And you get back, you get a little grit from the sand or whatever that they're growing through. I mean, you know, you get to expect that with your mushrooms. So these generally, there's no grit, but a lot of people rinse them off anyway. I personally don't. So you take your 1 1/2 sticks of butter, and I use lightly salted butter. Okay, not margarine, not spread. I use butter. You take your 1 pound of mushrooms, dump them right in. This is very, very exciting right here. This is a big deal. Okay, empty. Okay, so with that being said, now you want to take your spoon and you want to mix them up. You want to mix them up real good. Get them all coated up with that butter. Yeah, you want to get that butter on there, baby. Ooh, yeah. That's what I'm talking about right there. These already look amazing. Good enough to eat right now. I'm going to show you. I know that you've been dying to look. Here you go. Look at this. I wish I had 2 hands available. Yeah, look at that. Already looking thick. The sauce is already looking thick. This is going to be so amazing. So what you do once that's all set, and I just left I put it on super low to melt the butter from the sticks. Okay, but now that it's melted and you have the mushrooms in there and you have it mixed up, now you turn that on. You could turn that on medium high, and you can cover it because you want that to saute while this other stuff is cooking. Okay, and I'm gonna give that a quick stir. while this other stuff is cooking, it's got to cook for 20 minutes. We still have about 16 minutes left. We still got about 16 minutes left, so this is going to cook for quite a while still. So you're going to have to be, you're going to have to want to, what do they call it, multitask. Okay, so we're going to put the lid back on that. And you're going to have to saute these. I'll be back when the mushrooms are done. Hey, I'm back. Okay, so it's been about 20 minutes. 20 minutes seems to be a recurring theme in my blogs or vlogs, video vlogs. So let me show you what we got. Here is the meat. I can really smell that soy sauce. Okay, you can see that it's very well cooked right now. And here is the mushrooms. You can see that they cooked way down. They're actually very soft right now. Okay. So now what we do, I'm going to try to do this with just the one hand. What we do is we take this and we dump the whole thing in here. All the sauce, all the juice, everything. And then mix it up. I know people go, man, that's a lot of butter you're putting in there. Trust me when I tell you, man, this tastes like lobster when it's done. It's very rich. Very, very rich, okay? But I'm not done. So, not only that, now I have to add 1 cup of heavy cream. Now, you have your choice. You can either add a cup of heavy cream, or we got enough butter and stuff in there, so I like to cut the calories back a little bit. Believe it or not, I know, that's, you'll never hear me say that again. But I cut the calories back a little bit, and I go with half and half. Okay, I just go with half and half. You put 1 cup in, so let's pour out 1 cup. Just like that, and you pour that in. Okay, so now I'll show you what it looks like stirring. Okay, so now we add the, oops, sorry, I forget I'm recording. Okay, so now that's what we have. And I know it looks like a lot of juice. Looks like a lot of juice in there, man. Okay, but so now what you want to do is cover this and cook it for about 5 minutes on low. So I'm going to put the cover on, and I will see you in 5 minutes. Okay, I'm back again. Once I think this is about the last time. It might be one more. So I know it goes fast for you guys, but it's eternity for me. So anyway, so we got this stuff is pretty much done cooking. Okay, now this is what it looks like. Pretty nice. So then you want to take a half a cup of water. I need a little more water. Half a cup of water. And you want to take 2 teaspoons of cornstarch. Now the cornstarch, I got to cut this open, it's brand new. Okay. Alright, so now you want to put 2 teaspoons. I'm just going to do it for you. Oops, I spilled a little bit. What are you going to do? Okay, so you put, I'm going to stir it with a tablespoon, but you put a couple of teaspoons of cornstarch in a half a cup of water. And you stir it because you don't want it to be clumpy, okay? You add that to the mix. Now the thing is, you want to stir it in real nice. This is going to help thicken it up, okay? This is going to help thicken it up. Now, if for some reason you miscalculated and you added a little bit too much water or a little too much beef bouillon or broth, I'm going to tell you what you need to do is just add a little bit more on the cornstarch. Keep adding cornstarch until this has like a thick consistency. After you get done doing this, just keep stirring it until it gets nice and thick, okay? I'll be right back when it gets thick. Okay, this is the final time I'm back, and it looks real good. I have to correct an error. I was reading it wrong, and I said 2 teaspoons, and it's 2 tablespoons of cornstarch. Okay, 2 tablespoons of cornstarch. If you already are following this, like, you know, piece by piece, and you already put 2 teaspoons in, just add 2 more teaspoons or something. But you want to add but you don't put it directly into the food. Cornstarch is funny; it'll clot. You have to put at least a little bit of hot water. Put the cornstarch in there, and then mix it till it dissolves, and then pour that into your mix. Okay, so correcting an error, not 2 teaspoons, 2 tablespoons. Okay, and as I said, you need to add until it's thickened up anyway. So let me show you what we have. Here's what we got. Okay, so it's nice. It's very nice and thick. Okay. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we're going to spoon it. As I said, we're going to spoon it over some ramen noodle. Now with the ramen noodles, you can use any ramen noodles, but you don't add the packets, okay? Don't add the packets. It's got enough salt and it's got enough spices and stuff in the food already. Don't put the packets in. You only use the ramen noodles for the noodles, okay? Because they're fast. Okay, so here is the stuff, and here is the just like that, okay? And that's it. Our work is done. Now if you really, I use big mushrooms, so if you want, you can use a knife and you can cut them up just like a steak. Cut up the mushrooms to make it more of a bite-sized portion. So I'm gonna try and get a nice piece of meat and a nice piece of mushroom, along with some noodles. Here we go. Just like that. And let's see what she tastes like. Oh man. Good gravy. If this could be smell-o-vision or taste-o-vision or something like that, you'd be thanking me right now. Man, that is good stuff. Now, you don't have to use noodles. You can use rice. You don't have to use rice. You can just use the mixture by itself. You can use this right here, all by itself. You don't have to mix that with anything. Pour it out on a plate and eat it. It's up to you. My preference is just like this. Look at this big mushroom. My preference is just like that. Man, I'm telling you right now, that should be illegal. That's so rich and it's so good. It should be illegal. Anyway, okay, so that was a request from one of my followers. I appreciate it. You know who you are. It turned out very good. I hope that you all enjoy my version of creamy beef with mushrooms. Until next time, adios. Hey, I'm back. I just forgot something. If you can, like I told you in previous videos, I'm trying to grow this channel. So like it, share it, subscribe, hit the notification bell. If you have any comments or if you have any suggestions, leave them in the comments section. I appreciate everybody. Thanks.